Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the third tutorial. In the previous tutorial, we saw the syntaxes, variable, how to display data, various data types, strings, and constants. So in this tutorial, we're going to be talking about operators and conditional statements. We must have seen or we saw operators in the previous tutorial, but we did not really emphasize on each. There are different types of operators in PHP. You have the arithmetic operator, the assignment operator, comparison, increment and decrement, logical, and the string operators. When we talk of the arithmetic operators, it's simply the arithmetic operator is the kind of operator that you use when you want to perform arithmetic operations on variables. We saw it on this, where we had a variable x, $x, and another one $y, where we did echo $x plus $y. So this is a case of an arithmetic operator. You can perform addition, subtraction, modulus, and so on variables. You can perform them on two or more variables if you want. Okay, the next operator now is the assignment operator. We use this assignment operator when we want to assign a value to a variable. For example, we have $x is equal to 5, and then $man is equal to g. Now we want to use this assignment operator. Like we said, the assignment operator simply uses the equal to sign to assign to a variable, and then we have, let's say, $y is equal to, now if you say $y is equal to $x, remember $x is 5. Now I want to create a new variable and assign this value, the value of this other variable, to this one. In this case, we say echo $y, and we display, so it displays 5. We are here. Now if we want to say $y is equal to $man, and then we display $man, it displays g. It simply means that this variable, or the value of this variable g, has been assigned to y. It means y now is then taken into parameter the value that is found is inside man, which is g. So that's how the assignment operator works. We use the assignment operator when we want to assign values to another one. We can say $x or $y, or if we say $y is equal to $x plus 24, and then we echo $y. At this point, it is adding 24 to the value of $x. So that's the new variable. You can perform as many operations as you want on it. The next one we are going to check is the comparison operator. We use the comparison operator when we want to compare two or more values. For example, we want to compare if x, or if $x is equal to $y. Here we compare if both are equal. The other one is the identical. This with 3 equal to sign. This one simply verify if the left hand is the same as the right hand and they are of the same data type. That's when we use now to compare those two. The next one, we also have the less than sign. Verify if x is less than y, x is less than y, $x is greater than $y, and so on. We also have the less than equal to, as say $x is less than equal to $y. So those are some of the comparison operators. We'll see them. We'll do some practice of some practical. We'll take some practical situation of these cases when we are dealing with the conditional statements, which is the next part of this same tutorial. So the other one now is the incrementation and decrementation. We also have the pre and post incrementation. Now we have our value of x here is 5. Let me clear our page. Our value of x is 5. We have, if we want to increment x by 1, we simply do $x plus plus, and then we display. Here it simply, first of all, increments the value of x by 1 and then returns the original x. So at this point, it has incremented the value of x by 1 and then returns the original x. So the new value of x now is the previous value that was being incremented, that x had, and now this one has been assigned now to a virtual value of x. Whereas if we want, we have something like this and then we launch. Here is a case of a pre-incrementation. You can also assign it even to a variable. Let's say $t is equal to $x plus plus, and then here we are taking into consideration the value of, and we are taking into consideration the value of x. Now if we've assigned $t as $x plus 1 in this case, and then here we are displaying the value of x, you realize we have 6 because the value of this x has been assigned to x plus 1. But if we are to define it to t, remember t is the value of x plus 1. But since we are doing a post incrementation, we simply first of all return the value of the original x and then we increment. That's why when we execute this, we have 5 instead of 6. We'll see more of this when we are doing loops. The next one we have now is the logical. The next one we have is the logical. We use the logical when we want to combine two variables, or we also want to combine or compare something. Now we have our x as 5 and our y as x plus 24. So obviously here we'll have 29 as our y. We want to verify a case where let me just say $x and $y. So this is the case. This is a kind of situation where we want to verify if the conditions that if $x, let's say if $x is equal to 6 and $y is equal to 5, something like that. So this is a case where we use a logical operation. Or if we want to say $x is greater than 100 and $y is let's say $y is equal to 5. So this is how we use one of the logical operations. We also have the OR. The OR is given like this. If any of the conditions are true, then the situation is satisfied, where it has to verify if this is greater than or equal to this, or this. If any of them are true, then you execute a particular condition. So that's a case of a logical operation. The last one is the string operation. We already saw the string operation using concatenation, where we use the full stop to join or to bring two strings together. We saw it in the last, I think the second tutorial. So that's how the operators are being done in PHP. Well, we are going to do some practical example for you guys to see it. Okay, the next part of this tutorial is the conditional statement. Now in PHP we have the conditional statement. We have the if statement, we have the if else, we have the if else if, else, and the switch statement. So these are some of the conditional statements that we have in PHP. Let me empty this my file. These are some of the conditional statements that we have in PHP. Like we said, we use conditional statement to perform different actions that are based on different condition. When you want to perform a particular action based on a particular condition, that's when you use an if a conditional statement. Now for the if statement, when do we use it? We simply use it if the condition of the code is satisfied. For example, to use the if statement, if we say if, we already know that the value of x here is 5. We say if x, for example, if $x is less than, let's say if $x is less than 40, yes, let's say 40, we echo, let's say x is less than 40. So this is a case of the if statement. We use the if statement to verify only one condition. Now we want to display our page. X is less than 40. That's what has been displayed. Why does it display x is less than 40? Because the condition is true, and that's the only condition. That's why you've seen it has displayed x is less than 40. Now let's say if x is greater than 40, it should display the condition is false. So that's why this code is not executed, because x is not greater than 40. Now we'll take the case now of an if else. Now we use this if else. If the first condition is not met, then definitely it should execute a particular code for if that condition is not met. So we have the case now where if x is greater than 40, it should say okay, if x is greater than 40, it should say x is greater than 40, else it should echo another code, x is less than 40. Now in this case, we refresh our page. It says it should be x is less than or equal to 40. Yeah, so x is less than or equal to 40, because here it should be strictly greater than 40. So since x is not, I think since we should just say x is not greater than, I think it's preferable like this. See, x should be strictly greater than 40. Since x is not greater, remember x is 5. Since x is not greater, it says it executes this first condition, x is greater than 40. But in this case, x is 5, which means x is less than. It comes now and executes this second option, which says x is not greater than 40. That's why we have x is not greater than 40. Now the next one, if else. We use this if else to specify a new condition to test if the previous one is false, to specify or to execute a new or to test a new condition if the previous one is false. Now we are still dealing with this same example. If x is greater than 40, it should execute this. Remember, x is 5. Else, it verifies a new condition if $x is greater than, where are we? $x is less than 40. It should say x is less than 40. And then now, if this condition is not met, definitely there is a third condition, echo what? X is 40. Now let's execute and see. X is less than 40. Our x is 5, right? So at this point, it executes this code. Now if x is 41, we execute x is greater than 40. So at this point, it has verified, is x greater than 40? Yes, it echoes this, and then it does not continue. Now what if we put our value of x to 40? What happens? We execute. I think we have else. I think we need else if $x is greater than 5 is equal to 40. This is to compare strictly. See if $x is equal to Okay, sorry for that mix-up. I was trying to debug where the problem is coming from. Yeah. Now you realize in this code we wrote somewhere that $t is $x++. Here it increments x, it returns the value of x and then increment x. So technically the new value of x is this value of x greater than 1. That's why at each point in time you realize the value of x becomes 41, which is greater than 40. That's why we had where is this? That's why we had greater than 40. So that problem was solved by removing that incrementation value, which has now x is equal to 40. So that's where the problem was coming from. So realize it verifies the first condition. If x is greater than 40, it says x is greater than 40. If x is less than 40, it says x is less than 40. Because this. Now if the first two conditions are not met, definitely then x is 40. So we don't even need an if else, because in this case the first is not met, the second is not met. It means x is found in an interval. So actually the structure of an if statement, of an if else else statement should be like this. We have the if condition, the code to run, we have the code to run, else if, okay, this should be condition 1, else if condition 2, code to run 2, else run code 3. So basically this is a structure of an if statement. Now the last one we are going to, we've seen already the if, the else if, and the switch statement. So let me just comment these ones to prevent them from displaying. Okay, I've just commented this one because I don't want everything to show. The last one we are going to look at is the switch case. Okay, let me put this one down. We'll call it the switch statement. Now the switch statement has this as a structure, where we have the switch condition to verify, and then we have the case. I think case is condition 1, switch, I think switch value, case condition 1. I'll explain these other ones after. Break, action to execute, break, and then it runs down to case condition n, action to execute, break. Now in case there is no no action to execute, or in case all the ones above are not executed, it goes now to the default, action to execute, break. Now if you look at, okay, we close our syntax. Now this is a skeleton of a switch statement. Now if you look at this switch statement, we simply use it when we want to select only one of many blocks to be executed. Now these are the different blocks. This is the first block, this is the second block, this is the third block, and so on. But we want only one block to be executed. That's where we use the switch case. And here the break simply means that if this action, or if this condition 1 is met in this case, or in this situation, you should execute this code and stop here. You should not continue. If condition 2 is met, execute this code and stop up to condition n. If condition n is not met, then simply execute this code and stop. But this is the value we are verifying. Now let's take a simple situation. We have our x is 40. Now I want to verify if x is 40, it should display x is 40. So in this case, let me come so where we can be seen. We have switch $x, that's the value of our $x in this case. Now come case is x1, we'll verify echo x is 1, we break, right? Okay, now let's try to echo this. We echo, no information is displayed on the page. Now let me just put the default first so you see what I'm talking about. Default echo the value of x is not known. and then we break, we end here. Now we run the program. It says the value of x is not known. We come case 2, that's just an example. Echo x is 2. We break, we run it. The value of x is not known. We come again, case 3. Echo, okay, let me just say 40 to save ourselves the stress. X is 40. Break. So it shows that x is 40. It simply means that the block has been executed, or the condition has been met in this case. That's why that's why the program stops here and then displays this message. Now let's take a simple case of let's say this G. This is a simple case of the switch case where we've taken the value of x. Now let's take the case of this G. Now we know that I want to talk about the length, though it's a string function, but I just want to explain something here. We want to get the length of this G. Let me comment these other ones. We want to get the string length. String length function is a string function that's used to get the length of a string. The length of a string. Okay, let me just. Now this string is G. The length of this string will be displayed as 3, where 3 is considered as n. N is 1, J is 2, and I is 3. So in this case, we can simply use switch. If we want to verify the length, switch string length of $man, and then we do our switch case inside. In this case, it's going to calculate now. It's working now on the length of this. So you can even use maybe we can work with that with databases and so on. So we use these switch cases only we want to select one of many blocks to be executed. We'll see other examples of it in subsequent tutorials. So we'll end here for tutorial 2, and then we'll move on to tutorial 3, and then we'll move on to the next tutorial, which has to do with loops.